Good morning, good afternoon, good night to all our listeners. My name is Subash Tavares, and certainly I can say that the previous presentation has really got my juices flowing, as it were. So I'm going to take you through the virtual PMO and what we're trying to achieve, which is entirely complementary to big data. So just to put it in context, that for the last 15 or 20 years, I've been very fortunate to work on some of the biggest programs, certainly in the UK, and also across a diverse industry. So we have light rail, underground, aviation, water, dirty water, high-speed rail, highways, and most recently, a very advanced technology facility for Intel in Ireland. So I believe, the PMO function is agnostic of industry when you get to a certain level. From my experience and the experience of my colleagues, this will probably resonate with all of you, and that is that we face similar challenges: optimism bias, unrealistic dates, unrealistic cost estimates, fear of reporting the truth, which is why I like the idea of Unify, that we have a central database and that it is difficult to tell the story in any other way than what it should be. Failure for effective governance. This is the piece around everything we do in a consistent and legal and organized way. Capability of people, poor integration, people working in silos, both in corporate and on projects, is a real problem. And consideration of whole life costs. These are all things that are not new and provide some of the biggest challenges for us. We as the virtual PMO are looking to provide independent and impartial advice to our clients. This is about not being in the weeds, but having the helicopter view, having the understanding, the experience, and the ability to articulate what's really happening. One second. Okay. So the vision for us, it's about bringing people virtually together, prompted by the COVID crisis in the recent year or so, and provide consultation and strategic advice to the clients, and also to support and monitor realization of benefit. We also want to use and enhance local resources and then support them by ourselves and by our global reachback. So our philosophy is nothing new, but we want to reinforce it. We want to listen. I've worked for many big corporates, and certainly occasionally we tend to bully our clients. We go in saying, we know everything you need, so just get out of our way and let us do it, which is an approach, in my experience, not a great approach, but there are many organizations around that have succeeded with that approach. Ours is much more of a listen, evaluate, and resolve. We also want to be forward thinking and not rear view mirror type reporting. As I said earlier, we want to be a critical friend, impartial, independent. And as I stated at the bottom line there, we have no vested interest to obscure the reporting of actual performance. I usually explain this to people as if you had your best friend, and your best friend might tell you things that you don't want to know, that you don't want to hear, you certainly don't want to do. The question is, what happens with that relationship? Do you continue? Do you discuss it? Do you agree to disagree, move on, or do you end your friendship? The worst outcome, of course, is that you end your friendship, because actually your best friend is looking out for you. Your best friend may have a better view or an independent view that will hopefully make you make a better decision. So that's what we want to do from a professional and experience level. These are our core advisory services, and these flow quite neatly from what I've said in the previous slides. So again, integrated program control, exactly what unified principles are, is to have one single source of data collected, interpreted, and processed in a consistent way, but also having a human resource behind it, providing some experience and process. Reporting, governance, and benefits realization. These are things at the core of our services. These are the areas we believe are most challenging and require good looking at, especially governance. And then as we come through COVID, we are still delivering multi-billion-pound programs, but we're going to have to change the way we work. We already have the use of drones, the use of remote handheld devices to monitor progress, measure progress, report on progress. This is all accelerating because of the COVID crisis. It was always there. It was always something we hoped to do, but never quite got to it. And organizational development. This is the difference for me between corporate organizations and program portfolio deliveries. There is a healthy tension, but sometimes it can be a constraint. Why us? I won't go through this in too much detail, but basically it's the flexibility. It's the fact that we want to knowledge transfer and upskilling local resources, and we have no agenda for people retention. We do not land and expand. We land and we are there as long as someone wants to listen. This is the team at the moment, a group of 6 people with over 150 years of experience delivering some of the biggest projects, including the Olympics here in the UK. Catherine looks after our planning and consents part and stakeholder engagement. And Ben looks after some of the softer issues about maturity assessments and training and development, supporting organizational change. And the rest of us are project managers, program managers. I'm a civil engineer by background. Charles is a risk manager. So we have a complementary group of 6 of us who are very good friends. Still very good friends, and that remains a challenge. But we do work together. We respect each other, and we deliver outcomes. So I'm not going to go through this, but I'm happy that I will share them, and I do believe that this will complement what we've heard before, especially the unifier. Basically, our principles are very simple: validation and verification. So start on the top left and what is it you want, and end up at the top right getting what you want for the right cost and in the right time, and the process that goes with it. This to me is the core of anything that we do, even if only a thought process. The second one is the whole life. So for us, and working with TfL, whatever we do in the implementation phase, we've got to run it, we've got to operate it, we've got to manage it, and we've got to enhance it. So it's not so much let's deliver the project and someone else will sort it out. We're actually delivering the projects to ourselves. And therefore, I believe we need a different way of thinking in the delivery teams, in the design teams, in the operating teams, and in the maintenance teams. So this is a standard gate process. This is whereby we do checks to say, have we done what we said we've done till now? And have we spent the right money on the right things? And at peak on HS2, at peak on Tideway, we were spending between 8 to 10 million pounds a month on people. So, does need managing, but were we getting the right outcomes, reports, environmental impact statements, et cetera, So it's really crucial in that early stage, but also to think about the end game. And this is basically a pictorial of what I believe Unifier will do. This is about the integration, and you will see there typical examples of disparate tools and systems which have become part of the furniture, which people don't want to move away from, which are not integrated in any way, and they are not governed by a set of processes which link up. So, as you can well imagine, the real recipe for complete disaster and inefficient management of the delivery of programs. So that's me at a canter. Those are my contact details. Please do get in touch. And if there's anything we can do for you or any introductions that we can make for you to people within our network. Thank you.